Hi everybody, here I am at BookPeople in Austin, Texas, and I'm here early and I'm waiting for Riordan's new event to start for his new book, The Mark of Athena. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I have got a signed copy of the book, so it's really cool, and I'm hoping to get one of the Camp Half-Blood t-shirts, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome event.
Well, thank you guys so much. It's fantastic to be here. It's fantastic to see everybody. You know, I think BookPeople is like the epicenter of the Demigod Nation right here. This is the place where it's happening. It's always fantastic to be here. Thank you guys for coming out. I knew that a lot of you guys were not done with Percy's World. You wanted to hear more. I did not want to do the same thing over and over again, however, and I'll tell you why. I didn't want it to be like Percy Jackson 10, Percy Jackson 27, Percy Jackson 252. Here comes the Minotaur again. Because if I tried to do the same thing over and over, I was going to get bored, and I figured if I got bored, the writing wouldn't be as good, and then you guys would get bored. So I said, how can I go back to that world but do it a little bit differently? And I started thinking, well, there's Greek and then there's Roman. They're the same stories, but they're a little bit different. What if there was a Roman demigod camp out there? And what if the Greeks and the Romans didn't know about each other? If they found out about each other, would that be really good or really bad? So I played around with that idea, and I created a new story where a kid named Jason Grace shows up at Camp Half-Blood, but he's not your regular demigod. He knows Latin rather than Greek. He's got these weird tattoos that say SPQR on his arm, and he has all these amazing powers. Well, they find out he's a Roman demigod in the wrong place. And that book became the first in the Heroes of Olympus series, and that was The Lost Hero. Now, if you've seen the cover and you've read the book, you may know the dragon there is Festus. That's his name, right? There's a scene in the book where Leo, one of the demigods, he turns to his friend and he says, well, I decided to name the dragon Festus. And Jason says, yeah, you know that Festus means happy in Latin, so you're telling me I have to ride off to save the world on Happy the Dragon. Leo's like, yeah, right, excellent. So when I was thinking of the title of this book, I asked my sons, I said, what should I call it? I'm thinking The Lost Hero. And they both grinned and said, no, Dad, you need to call it Happy the Dragon's Magical Adventure. I said, no, I think I'll just stick with The Lost Hero, thanks. In the second book, we see our old friend Percy Jackson, but he's lost his memory too, and he wakes up at the Roman camp, and that book is called The Son of Neptune. You know, and again, my son's always very helpful. Haley looked at this and said, "Aw, Dad, you can't use that as the cover. That's a total spoiler." I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, now I know somewhere in the book Percy gets a chicken on a stick. He wanted me to call the book that. Heroes of Olympus, Book 2, Chicken on a Stick. But I kept it at Son of Neptune. In fact, during the summer, I got to do a book of short stories, and Haley actually has a story in there. He's decided he wants to become a writer himself. So his story, Son of Magic, is one of the 4 stories that you'll find in the Demigod Diaries. And that was really fun. But of course, the reason I'm here today, and the reason I hope you guys are excited, is because just last week, the new book in the series came out, The Mark of Athena. Man, this was so fun to write. The thing I love about this book, all 7 demigods are finally together, and this is Annabeth's story. You get to hear from her firsthand for the first time what's going on in her head, and she's got to come to terms with her destiny and her own powers. It was a fantastically fun story to write. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know you're all wondering, however, what happens next? Well, I'm glad that you're thinking that, because I am too. There will be 5 books in the Heroes of Olympus series, so there's 2 more to come. After that, you may have heard the rumors, I am going Norse. Odin, Thor, Loki. The next series will indeed be about the Norse gods. And it's not really because of the movies, although the movies are great. It's not really because of the comic books, although I grew up on the Thor comic books. My Norse twist will be a little bit different than that. It'll be a lot different than that, actually. All I can tell you at this point, it'll be at least 3 books. It will be set in the modern world, just like Percy Jackson, and the Norse did have the idea of demigods. They did believe that mortals could be descended from gods. So it is possible that you could see a demigod son of Thor, or son of Odin, or Loki. So that would be very interesting. I have to zip back to San Antonio because I have another book to write, book 4, and I'm working on it right now. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Thank you guys for spending some time with me today. Thank you guys.